All right, gang, let's get started. Welcome, those of you joining us today. It is really great to be with you here in a new, re-energized 2020. Lots of great stuff coming down the pipeline. If you're joining us for the first time, I am Jason there on the left, and we're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories. David, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Welcome everybody to the big webinar 80, kicking off the new year with a big webinar number there. It's great to be with you again here after a brief holiday hiatus.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we all needed a little bit of downtime, but I think we got a lot of good quiet work done, when you're kind of alone and you can focus on things that you've been wanting to get done for a long time. It's nice to have that small break so you could really hone in on those things. I always like to mention, if you're not already a member of our Facebook group, please join us there. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook, and we can continue the conversations in between webinar Wednesdays. Lots of great constructive topics being discussed in there. I'm in there myself, and I'm learning every day how people are using their Brilliant Directories websites in new and exciting ways. So if you haven't already done so, take a moment. You can join us at brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. And for those joining again for the first time, welcome to Webinar Wednesdays. We know we had a lot of new users sign up to the platform. A lot of people are excited about their ideas, and it's great to be with you here on Webinar Wednesdays. This is a great platform and channel for us to talk about marketing strategies to grow your online community. These days it's very easy to just flip a switch and get a website online, but actually invigorating it with a pulse and energizing it with the legs and traction it needs to grow does require a little bit of strategy. So we like to cover things about like how to increase your website traffic, converting visitors into members. Sometimes we'll talk about the features of the platform and how you can utilize them to encourage members to get activated on your site. And that's something we'll talk about today as well. And one of my favorite things to discuss is actually improving your website's navigation. I'm a big advocate that a simple navigation directs the visitor or potential member to the places you want them to go on your website, and that can really help increase conversion rates. So if you have questions on any of these topics or similar topics, please save them. We'll try to get to as many of them as possible in this webinar. And if by chance we miss any of your questions, please join us in that Facebook group there. All right, and just some fun stats. I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I think BD is pushing close to almost 10 years since initial conception at the earliest stages. So it's been almost a decade that we've been working on this project. And here are some stats from 2019 that are just kind of fun to review. And you yourself, as owning your own website, you have your own milestones and achievements that you need to celebrate as well. So it's important to take a step back, celebrate the small wins, and then make a plan to incrementally make good progress this year in 2020. So on the BD side here, we answered and resolved nearly 30,000 support tickets that came into our system from the entire community. And really, it's our pleasure to help the community with the support tickets. We learn when things are reported sometimes, we're able to improve. And of course, every time we receive a support ticket, we know that behind that support ticket is someone who's working really hard trying to push their project forward. So we know where you're coming from, and we do appreciate you guys communicating with our team and working with us as we work to make the platform better for everyone. Also, the Facebook group doubled in size last year. I think we started with about 1,500 or 1,600 Facebook group members, and we ended up with just over 3,200. And it's great to see all the new faces in there and lots of great engagement going on. And then from the developer side, we love to share the BD Lab updates. We can't cover everything, but I checked out our change logs and all the weekly software updates that we post. And there were nearly 1,200 new updates, features, releases, and fixes last year in 2019. So that's a great number there. And then we have all our 79 webinar replays online in our blog. And then also, we now have just over 60 add-ons for those of you that are members of the VIP Add-ons Club. And there's a good handful of add-ons coming down the line in the next month or so. So we'll be able to present on those as soon as they are released. So thank you guys for a great 2019, and we are looking forward to an awesome 2020. And mentioning updates, let's dive into some of the noteworthy BD Lab updates that we have to share. I'll dive right into this since it's a quick list here. One of the first ones is the method that members would upload their profile photos and logos. It was fine, but the way that it was confusing how to go to the next step of setting up their profile. So we've now turned adding a profile photo into a pop-up, so it's very clear that they need to complete that action. And let me actually show you what I'm referring to there. So let me go to a profile that I have here, and let me actually delete this image. So before, I would click this button, upload photo, and everything would happen right here on this page. The confusion was there is a continue to the next step button here. So it was kind of unclear, not always, but to certain users. So thanks to your recommendations, we've now turned this into a pop-up, and you get this pop-up on your screen. It works really good on phones also. You can select your image, and you do all your cropping in the pop-up here. And then when you need to continue, you click crop and upload images. So there's no confusion as to you're definitely saving the photo and you're going to the next step. So you just click crop and upload image, and it'll go ahead and save the image. So it's a lot clearer. That same process works for the profile photo, the logo, and also the profile cover photo if you guys have that. The next one is an add-on enhancement. We have the profile analytics that shows your members how many profile views they receive, how many times their phone number is clicked on their profile page. And this again was a recommendation from the community. We wanted to see how many views each of their posts receive. So if a member is publishing an event or a coupon or a classified listing, now the member can see how many raw views their posts have received. And let me quickly show you where they can find that. So if you have a member, they can go to any one of their posts, and this is just a sample site. So in this case, they're looking at their classifieds. There is now a column here called views, and this is a site that we play around with, so there's no views, but let's go ahead and view these posts. Let's just open these up here. And if we refresh the page, these should switch to 1. So it's not retroactive, it's not going to go from the past, but moving forward now, any of the existing posts or new posts your members create, they'll be able to see how many views their posts receive. And also let me show you which add-on that one is connected to. And I'll share a link in the chat as well. So it's the member profile analytics. So this one, before it would track member profile views, like I said, clicks to the member's website, all those things it already tracked. Now it will show you how many views the member's posts receive. And I think the next thing we want to do with this add-on is when you're in the admin, this is for the member to see, but we can certainly, and I think it'll be our next move with this, is when you're looking at the posts in the admin area, is including that statistic here as well for the owner of the website, the admin of the website, to also know very quickly how many views a post has received. But for now, it's there for your members. You can let them know. It's a great selling tool if your members want to know if what they're doing on your site is even getting any engagement, if it's worth their time. So if someone is potentially thinking about canceling and your site does involve your members publishing content to the site, user-generated content, then that's a great way to show them the value that they're getting from your site. All right, this one is more of a convenience for those who want it and those who don't want it. Up until now, the default email address of the website would always receive a copy of the welcome email new members receive when they sign up. I like it. It's a great way to know instantly when you're getting new member signups, whether it's free signups or paid signups. If you didn't want to see it, those emails, you would basically have to set up a filter in your Gmail or Outlook and just tell it to automatically archive or delete those emails. But now there is an option that you can choose if you want to copy the admin on new member signups. And let me show you where you can do that. So this would be in the Finance tab under the membership plans, and you would actually do this on a per membership level basis. So let's use the premium plan as an example here. Let's edit this. So what's really cool is, if you guys didn't know this, when your members sign up, you can actually choose what email they receive immediately after signing up. And similarly, when a member upgrades to a certain membership level, we can see here on the right, you can actually have a welcome email that welcomes them to the new upgraded membership level that they've opted for. And underneath here, we could see the checkbox, send copy of email to default website email address. So this will be turned on by default. It'll be checked by default because that was the standard functionality. But if these emails bug you or you don't need to see them, you can certainly turn these off here for your membership levels, and that'll save you a little bit of resource usage on the emails that are being sent out from your website. And you can do that for each membership level. All right, and the next one is, and I actually shared this in a Facebook Live video we did a few weeks ago. You now have an option to hide the homepage hero section on mobile devices. And first, let me start out by showing you what the hero section is. And it's probably one of the first things we all edit when we start working on our websites. It's this section up here. It has the background image. Many of us use a search module here, or we put some buttons that people need to click. But this is the hero section of our websites on the homepage. And, a lot of us, app development is very expensive. So the fact that Brilliant Directory sites are mobile responsive is a huge incentive, and because it does provide a great experience on mobile. And part of a good experience on mobile is actually picking and choosing certain things to hide that aren't really necessary for the mobile experience. Just because on mobile, the real estate on people's devices is so much more valuable. Scrolling is a lot harder. So we really just want to have the basic elements that a mobile user would need. And again, this hero section is great. Sometimes you want it on mobile. You have a lead form there, or you want to start off the experience on mobile with the search you have here or the big title you have here. But some cases you may not want this on mobile. So let me show you where this setting is. You would want to go to your settings and design settings. And a section we're all familiar with would be the homepage layout. And over here in the homepage search settings, if we scroll down, there is now an option to hide on mobile, yes or no. So actually, let me toggle this to no, and we can see what it looks like on mobile with not hiding it on mobile. And then let's see what it looks like hiding it on mobile. All right, let's refresh the screen. And on Firefox, you could do Control-Shift-M, and it takes you into like a mobile view here. So as we get smaller and smaller, this becomes our mobile view. And certainly you may want this hero section on your mobile. It's totally up to you. But let's say you didn't want it. Let's say it's extra space that you don't need filled. Let's turn on the hide on mobile, set that to yes, and save the changes. And I'll actually make this wider. All right, let's refresh the page. Okay, and let's start shrinking down the screen. So now we can see it's gone. Let's actually see exactly where when it hides itself. Right there. So now it's just showing the rest of the elements that we had on our home page. You might be streaming coupons. You might be streaming your top level or sub-level categories. You might be streaming events. So you're cutting out something that may or may not be necessary on your site. And again, you can decide that. And to take it a step further, we've had these settings for a while, but they're also worth mentioning now. You can also choose if you want to hide certain elements in your header area. And just to show a stark difference here, I'll hide the logo and this search module here as well. So if we go to the design settings and go to header design, there's a small suite of mobile view options here. For example, you can hide the entire header section, just the website logo, the mini nav links, or the search. In this case, let's hide the entire header section. All right, give that a second to save, and we'll refresh the page. So now we have our compact menu here. So it's a mobile-friendly menu that pops up, and then it goes right into the member search pages. And if we actually go into search page, let's go to how it works actually. So this is our how it works page. We can go to a member's profile page, and we can see that the header is not there. So I think it adds a little nice touch there to hide the header on mobile. If you don't have anything really essential that needs to be there on a mobile view, you may want to choose to have those elements hidden, or just a few of those elements hidden. And second from the bottom here, quick filter when editing membership levels. I thought this was worth mentioning just because there are so many settings for our membership plans. This makes it a lot easier to find settings, and if you're just searching by keyword, you can probably find new settings that you didn't know existed before. So this is also in the finance section, membership plans, and when you're editing a membership level, stick with the premium. There's different tabs here, and inside of the tabs, there's a wealth of settings and features here to take advantage of. Sometimes it could be hard to find stuff. So now, in case you didn't notice it, there is a search by keyword here. So let's just search for the word redirect. And it removes the tabs that don't have the word redirect in it, and it just keeps the settings that do have the word redirect in it. So it's really useful. If I search for things like badge or login, I can find the settings that relate to those things. So if you're fumbling around, you know the keyword that you're looking for, you don't know the tab that it's in, you may want to choose to use that keyword search filter up there. And then lastly, this one was also highly recommended by the Facebook group. We do have the member badge add-on. It allows you to assign a membership badge image to a membership level. And let me log in to explain what this is. You now have a third badge. And what that badge allows you to do is, if you're using this section, which encourages members to put this image on their website and links back to their profile. Before, you couldn't really customize this image on a per membership level basis. You could only go to the general settings and just change this image for all the members on the website. But now, when you have the member badge add-on, this is a third new image for a specific membership level that you can assign the image that you want this to be here. So maybe you give your members certifications and things like that, and you have an image you want your members to place on their company website. You can certainly add that here. So let me first show you where the general setting is. This is the image you would choose for it to apply to all members. The member badge image here. So you can add a custom one here. It'll apply to all your membership levels. However, if you want a unique one for one of your specific membership levels, you can certainly go and edit that membership plan. It's in the first tab here, Member Dashboard Badge, and you could just choose from your media library here. So I just put this GoDaddy Pro Plus member here just as an example, and if we save our changes, that badge image will now show here, and this is the image we're encouraging our members to place on their website. So for those of you who needed it, it's now available. You don't need to do any fancy customizations or anything like that. All right, I did explain a lot. I covered a lot here quickly. Dave, you've put together a really good presentation. We've had this add-on for quite some time, the multi-location listings add-on. And in a nutshell, it allows members to list in more than one location that they enter with their normal contact details, right?
Correct. Yeah, this was, I think, one of the very first add-ons we released. So we've had it for quite a while now, and realized we never really did a deep dive video presentation on it. So that's what we'll be showing today, kind of the few settings to configure when you unlock this add-on, and then what it looks like as a member goes through the process of choosing additional locations to list in. So what does this add-on do? As Jason just said, it's very simple. It allows members to be listed and found in additional geographical locations. So by default, members set their location, and that's the only location that they can be found in. So there is a setting for you to set the search radius on your website. If a member's location is within that search radius, when a website visitor is conducting a location search, then they will appear in those search results. If they fall outside of that radius, then they won't appear in those search results. So this add-on allows members to choose additional locations to be listed in so that they appear in different location-based searches. And so it's useful for a couple people. It's useful not only for your members, but also for your website visitors. For your members, obviously, they get more visibility. They can be found in all of the locations that they serve, and they can connect with more potential customers. So for example, maybe you have some kind of real estate website and you have moving companies registered as members on your site. Moving companies, we're based here in Los Angeles, so maybe there's a moving company who's based in Los Angeles, but they service customers not only just in LA County, but also in the neighboring Ventura and Orange counties. So this add-on would be perfect for them. It would allow them to list themselves not only in LA County, but Ventura County and Orange County as well. So it expands their service area. And so they'll show up in more visitors location-based searches. And so going into visitors, they'll get more members in search results, which will result in less empty or thin search results. So it could potentially make your website appear to be more active than it actually is if members are being listed in more than one location. And just overall, it allows your website to work as a better, more useful resource for your visitors. And as I mentioned, this add-on is probably one of the simplest that we have in terms of configuration. There's only two settings. The first one is the maximum location limit. So you put in a number, and this is the maximum number of locations that you're allowing a member to be listed in. So if you set that number to 2, they will be able to list themselves in 2 locations instead of 1. If you up that number to 10, then they'll be able to choose up to 10 locations to list themselves in. And the second option is location types. So here you can choose how members choose to list themselves in different locations. If you're an international directory, you might just want to limit members to choose their locations based solely on country. So again, if maybe you're serving North America as a whole and you want to allow members to choose 2 locations, but you just want to limit it to country, well, then you can allow members to choose not just the US, but maybe Canada as well. Furthermore, you can narrow that down by state, county, city, and zip code as well. It kind of just depends on how specific you want to allow your members to be.
Yeah, I think I think the next step here is let's see how it works. So Dave, let's actually take a step back and see what the default functionality is when members can't select additional locations. So we'll stick with this sample listing that we have here. So this member, Stacy Smith, as an example, she'll come to the site, she'll fill out her name, her contact information, and then she'll also input her location. So in this example, she's inputted Beverly Hills, California, 90210, just like the TV show. And this is her, I guess, headquarters, her main location that she could be found in. So she'll only be found in searches for Beverly Hills, 90210. But as David mentioned, what if this is, maybe it's a lawyer, maybe they service San Francisco, Los Angeles, different cities within the state of California, or multiple states, or whatever the type of company it might be. At this stage, they cannot be found in additional location searches. So if I searched anywhere besides 90210 basically in a search, she would not be found. However, when this add-on is enabled, you can assign it to the membership levels that have the privilege, and it is a privilege because they're going to gain more visibility on your website, which membership levels have the privilege of selecting additional locations. So when this is enabled for one of your membership levels, they'll have this extra tab here called service areas. Now we've seen people change this text label. It's a text label. You can change it to something else besides the word service areas, whatever fits your website's needs. But in this case, this member has the ability to list in 10 additional locations. So in addition to her main contact details, which is Beverly Hills, she can select 10 additional locations here. And as David was mentioning, she is limited in this example to only selecting additional cities and postal codes. So obviously, postal codes and cities are smaller geographical regions than states and countries. So we're not giving them too much freedom. We're still telling them to choose specific locales and locations, and not just choosing like an entire state of California and cannibalizing or making sure that they show up for the entire state of California. So in this case, I wanted to do a quick search, David, and then we'll go and edit these settings just after this. So I wanted to go to the home page, and this is a zip code for Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. So let's do a search here. So right now we just have 2 member results in Salt Lake City in Utah. So let's actually add that zip code as one of the areas that this example member, Stacy Smith, serves. So we can choose the postal code, or I can choose the city if I wanted to as well. I'll go ahead and do that. And really there is no other action. The member just needs to push the add button and they're automatically added to this list. There is a helpful back to dashboard link since there's no additional actions needed after this step. But now if we just refresh this page here, we now see that Stacy is also listed as a member who services the Salt Lake City, Utah area. So this is hugely helpful for members that want additional exposure on your site, and some members may pay a premium for that. That could be an upsell or an upgrade opportunity or incentive for you to offer to members that want to be listed in additional locations. Now let's look at the settings that control how this member, Stacy Smith, and she is a premium member. So in this case, she can list in 10 locations, and in this case, it's city and postcode. So let's see where we set those limits. So we can go into the dashboard area, and because this is on a per membership level basis, we want to go to the Finance tab and click on Membership Plans. And if we scroll down, you can click on Edit. And because this is related to the member's search visibility, you'll find the settings in the Search Visibility tab. So when you have the add-on, you'll have these 2 fields available. Max location limit, and that's actually in addition to their contact details. So it's the additional locations they can select. In this case, it's set to 10. And then the location types here, these check boxes. So this membership level can select additional zip codes, additional cities, but they cannot select counties, states, and countries. That in this case, that would be too wide for this website that we're using.
If I can interject here real quick, Vincent's asking a question. He said in some cases the add button when you're adding locations doesn't show up. That's probably because you have some of these location types unchecked. The add button will only display for the checked location types.
That's a very good point. So you can see here city and zip code are checked. And if we go back to the dashboard, the corresponding fields for city and postal code have the add button. Let's actually test this. Let's check the county and the state boxes and save the changes. If we refresh the page, I think I'm going to have to enter the zip code again though. So let's enter the zip code again. So see, now it adds the state, county, city. So I can choose what I want to be listed in. And of course, I'll be found in location searches based on the options I select here. So the add button corresponds to the privilege of the location type that a member has to select here. And these are the only 2 settings that you really need to set for this. Now, of course, if you clear the location limit, it just won't have additional service areas. So if you happen to have this add-on, you don't have to assign it to your membership levels, but we can see here now that there is no service areas option. It just stops at the About section. So it's optional to assign additional locations to your members. You don't have to, but you can certainly do so. And if we change this back to 10 or even 100 if we wanted to, and if we refresh this page, we should see service areas here now. So basically, when you have this add-on available for your site, to enable or disable it for the membership levels, just have a value entered in there or leave it as blank, and it'll automatically hide it.
And another good tip, instead of putting a number, if you input all into that setting, it'll allow the members to display in all location-based searches.
Let's see that. You can also input all to auto list members in all locations. Well, that's something. I just learned something, David. So there's no need for this member to select locations. They're just automatically going to be found in all location searches. So I'm assuming, so let's see if we look here in Salt Lake City. So as long as you're searching, well, no, that didn't work, Dave. See, when all else fails. Something happened here. There were only 2 results for Salt Lake City a moment ago. I'm going to check that.
Probably because it's working on a membership level basis. So all members listed in that membership level are now being found in all search results.
It's not a bug. It's a feature. That's right. There are 16,000 premium members. So all 16,000 are found in all locations now. So, okay. Good one to know there. Let's reverse this then. We only have 1 featured member. Let's actually change this back to 10 so we don't have that happen. I didn't know about this all thing, Dave. This is pretty nifty. So let's just do this featured member and search visibility. Let's put all. So there were only 2 last time before we added. That does work really well. Okay, let's note, if you want members to be listed in all location searches, you can enter the word all here. All right, anything else you want to cover on this, Dave? I think covered a lot of good stuff here.
No, I think that's all of it. It's a relatively simple add-on, but it definitely adds a lot of value to a directory website.
So let's pass it on to you guys. If you have any questions that we can help with, if you have any roadblocks that are kind of getting in the way of growing your website, feel free to use the raise your hand feature, and we'll be happy to take some questions here. Hey, our good friend Vincent. How you doing, Vincent?
Hey, how are you guys?
Excellent, Vincent. How's everything with you?
Hey, I don't know if you saw in the notes there, one of the simplest ways to take a particular person and let them show up in every search is to use that quick edit thing.
That's right.
You can place under listing settings, list in all locations.
That's right.
Now you just take that one guy and he now shows up everywhere.
That's right. So actually, let's talk about that a bit more. So what David was showing us, when you can type in all, that's going to apply to the entire base of members of that membership level. However, what Vincent is referring to is actually quite elegant and nice. If you just want to promote a single member and list one member in all locations, let me reverse what I'm doing here. You can go to search members, click on the quick edit. You'll get this pop-up, and under listing settings, you'll have the option list in all locations, and then set that to yes. And then what we were seeing with the all option, it will just apply to this one single member. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good note here.
Yeah, that works great.
Awesome, awesome. Any other question for us? That was so quick.
So just real quick on that, let's go over that multi. So when you have, like, for example, you have a guy who actually serves multiple cities but doesn't really have an address in those cities. Is it possible to use the multi thing to, get him to show up in other cities without a real address?
Yeah.
Like you just put maybe Dallas, Texas in the zip. It doesn't really have an address. Yeah. He just wants a page for Dallas.
Absolutely. So actually this example, the Stacy Smith, you don't have to put a full street address when you're doing your profile. Let's actually go in here together. So if I'm setting up my profile and I go to contact details, I don't necessarily need to put the full street address. I can just put, let's do Newport Beach, right? So as long as it's on a city level, you can just save that broad of a location or even a state location. You don't have to put a full street address.
Okay, so let's say, like I use that quick edit a lot. Will this particular new one show up with its own quick edit when you search or no?
Yeah, so when you
change the URL, pest control Dallas.
Oh, then yes. It does 2 things. So it will update their URL. So URL is a combination of their location, their category, and their name for SEO purposes. So if I go in there and change my city or my top level category or my name, 2 things are going to happen, and it's a really good point you're bringing up. 1, the URL will update automatically. 2, the system will automatically create 301 redirect rules. So all the old URLs, if you try to go to them, it's going to point you to the new member's profile page. So this actually helps because, you know, if a member updates their profile page, their URL is going to change, but we still want to point people who have the old URLs to their profile pages. So the system is actually really intelligent when it comes to things like that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Vincent.
Well, thank you. We love your stuff. Love your websites.
Likewise, you guys keep us going. All right, guys. Well, on behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you so much for joining us for this Webinar Wednesday, the first one of the new year. Many more on the way. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. That's our normal schedule. Every 2 weeks, we'll have a webinar unless there's some scheduling conflict. We'll definitely notify you guys ahead of time. And if we didn't get to your questions, please feel free to join us in the Facebook group. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook, and we can happily continue the conversations there. So again, on behalf of myself, David, and the Brilliant Directories family, have an awesome day and a brilliant week. Take care, guys.